Greetings, everyone. Today, we will talk about Chapter 1, Unit 1, Introduction. Inside our topic, we have the Industrial Revolution, the movement of the people around the world, the Imperial Expansion, and the spread of new economic, social, and political ideas. Now, first, I will show you vocabularies that we will encounter as we go along our lesson for today. We have colony. Colony is the land settled and controlled by another country. We also have capitalism. It is a social system based on private ownership of property and resources. We also have nationalism. It is a devotion to the interests of one's own country, like patriotism. We also have socialism. It is based on public or shared ownership of property and resources. Now, let's go on to the Industrial Revolution. So during the time of Industrial Revolution, the use of coal and steam power and new mass production techniques dramatically changed the way things were made and sold worldwide. This changed the way wealth was distributed around the world. The Industrial Revolution changed the way people lived and worked. It also created new ideas about nature and society and had a major impact on the environment. Until the 1800s, people used biomass fuels such as wood and animal and human energy. When steam power was developed and used in industry, people started to use coal and other fossil fuels. On to the movement of people around the world. The global population, which is the number of people in the world, more than doubled between 1750 and 1918. During this period, there was a huge increase in the numbers of people moving to new countries. There were several reasons why this happened. First, the slave trade, where many people were sold and forced to leave their homelands. Second is migration, which saw millions leaving their home countries to find work or new opportunities. Third is transportation, where people were sent away from their home countries as convicts. Now let's take a look at the imperial expansion by European countries. This was also a time of imperialism, where the idea that one country has the right to take over other countries. The European countries where the Industrial Revolution began, such as England, followed imperialist policies to set up colonies all over the world. Over time, the European countries built up empires that expanded their power, influence, and trade into Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and the Middle East. These colonies provided raw materials, cheap labor, and markets for European industries. People and governments of the colonies responded to colonization in different ways. This year, you will identify and explore how some Asian nations responded to this challenge. Now, let's talk about the spread of new economic, social, and political ideas. People began to think about power and demand changes to give them a say in the government of their countries. The idea that people are equal and have equal rights changed the world. This was a time of revolution, during which countries such as France ended the old feudal monarchies and built governments based on equal rights. America, a colony of England, broke away and became an independent democracy. The Industrial Revolution changed the economy of the world and capitalism developed. Ideas that have shaped our world, such as nationalism and socialism, also developed during this time. Now, that is all for our lesson today. We will have a quick review of what we talked about today. Please take note. Number 1. We've learned that the use of coal, steam power, and new mass production techniques made a huge impact worldwide and changed the way people lived and worked. Number two, we have also learned that new ideas were formed about nature and society. Number three, before the 1800s, people used biomass fuels, but when steam power was developed, people used fossil fuels. Number four, there are reasons why global population doubled during the time. It was because of slave trade, migration, and transportation. Imperialism. It is the idea that one country has the right to take over other countries. Number six, European countries built empires that expanded their power into Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and the Middle East, which provided them with raw materials, cheap labor, and markets for them. Number seven, the idea that people are equal and have equal rights changed the world. Number eight, France ended old feudal monarchies and built governments based on equal rights. America, a colony of England, broke away and became an independent democracy. And the last one, during the Industrial Revolution, capitalism, socialism, and nationalism were developed.